Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel. Today I have a wonderful book box subscription that was sent to me for review that we actually used for our quarterly book club that we run out of our private Facebook group for this channel. It's called the Nobot Nook, and then we call our book club the Book Nook, and it is run by the amazing Priscilla, who reads more books than I read in probably 5 years, and she is always abreast of all of the latest releases and things that are coming up, and she's the perfect person to lead our discussions that we do both in the Facebook group, usually on a weekly basis for 3 or 4 weeks every time we have a read, and then she also has a little chat with me during a live stream, which is how we wrap up our books for the quarter. We do have that live stream. I believe we've decided to do it on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so definitely join us for that. That should be tomorrow, so that does kind of break my every other day cadence, because we'll have an extra live stream that will be available for you to watch if you happen to miss it. We would love to see you there in the chat, which is one of the fun parts about live streams, and then of course also in the comments below. So this is the Literary Book Club. Now, whenever we choose a book so far for the last 3 years for our book club, it is a book that is going to be featured in a box that I do open here on the channel. A lot of things are shifting in the subscription box world, so that might shift as well, but this was the first time that we were able to use the Literary Book Club, which is a monthly classics book subscription, and in honor of course, Jane Austen's 250th birthday, I think. We had Emma, and that was the August selection, I believe. Maybe it was the July selection. I think it was the July selection. We wound up reading it in August. Now, this box is $64.99 per month, plus $9.99 in shipping. Now, in addition to a gorgeous edition of whatever the book is for that month. Next month we have, or this month technically, we have an Agatha Christie, then we're gonna have a George Orwell. So really wonderful classics, beautiful editions for you to add to your library collection. I've been doing some upgrading with my bookshelves, and it's just really satisfying to me as someone who loves to read and really finds value in the classics to have some beautiful editions, beautiful bindings there on my shelf. So in addition to that beautiful edition that you get each month, you will also get wonderful items from small businesses that Katie, the owner, the curator, is able to source for us. So love all of that. Now, I do have a code for you. It's mauinoel. That will save you $5, and I will leave an affiliate link for you in the description box below as well. Just a couple of little changes that have happened. There is not the ability to skip anymore. It's just become too difficult for their really small team, which is really understandable as well. We're kind of skipping here and there, but you can always just cancel your subscription and then resubscribe. Sometimes though, you might have to be on the wait list for a little while, so definitely make sure that you get your name back on that list as soon as possible. I try to post some reminders in the Nobot Nook and sometimes in like the community tab over here on YouTube. I don't use that as much these days, but know that while logistically they're going to do that so they don't have to keep track of everybody's skips, it's easier. You can just cancel it, not have to worry about unskipping or reskipping, and then subscribe when you're ready. And the titles are usually announced well in advance. There's always like holiday titles too, which are really fun. So I have a feeling we're gonna have something cool for October, definitely something cool for the Christmas season. But let's talk about Emma and the box that we got this time around. So inside, there's usually a bunch of shred. And then of course all of the swag is in there, but I've gone ahead and taken most of that out. So I'm gonna pull the beautiful gifts out of here. Of course, I already have the book out. And now I will say that one pattern that I have noticed is usually Katie will include as one of the gifts another kind of book. Now it might be another book from that author. It might be a recipe book. It might be like a journal or something that has to do with the themes of the book. But there is usually another book in there, which I think is very appropriate for a book subscription. I am very happy when we do also get a little swag bag, because that was one of the things with recent updates. I was worried we weren't going to get as many of these, but lately she has been spoiling us and including them, but that's not necessarily something you always get. But let's go ahead and take a look at our swag bag, because I haven't already. And then of course we also just get a really nice product card with her gorgeous calligraphy and script, and then we have all of the items listed for us here, which I will use as my cheat sheet. So let's take a look at what we got in the swag bag this time around, because that's like the first thing I like to open. We have a beautiful nameplate that you can make sure that no one runs off with your books. We have a lovely sticker that of course says, "One cannot have too large a party." Love the whimsical, fanciful, very privileged life that Emma, our main character, gets to live. This is one of those books that, whether or not you've ever read the original, you have seen an adaptation of this book. Whether it's a pretty like obvious one, like the 2020 movie that I recently watched with is it Anya Taylor-Joy? That one was really good, and I loved like watching a movie where the dialogue is actually taken right from the pages and not changed too much. But then of course we have really recent modern adaptations like Clueless, right? So if you have any thoughts on your favorite Emma adaptations or allusions, let me know in the comments below. Here's another amazing sticker. Handsome, clever, rich Jane Austen. Handsome, clever, and rich. That's 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome. That's how I kind of imagine a lot of these characters, of course. One cannot have too large a party. We have this beautiful bookmark she's put together for us. And then it does say the Wildflowers Paper Company, which is like a sister company. It's also Katie's company. And then you guys have probably been waiting for it. So we got our bookmark, 2 stickers, and a book plate. And then look how pretty this edition is. So it says it's from Nicola Trailer is the design. And then there's the wildflowers that are from, ooh, I think from 1818. Wow, gorgeous. So it's from Wordsworth Editions. So it does have this fabric cover. And there is some like gold embossing on it, on the cover and on the back. You must be the best judge of your own happiness. Yes, indeed. So we don't have the summary of it because I guess we don't really need a blurb for Emma. But it was like very, very nice. Gilt pages, nice ribbon bookmark. Very, very lovely. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. And we'll talk a little bit about the box itself as well as the book over in the live stream, so definitely join us. You do not have to purchase the book box to be a part of our book club, just in case I wasn't clear about that. You can always get a copy from your library or listen to the audiobook, however you'd like to do it. But we do, of course, encourage you to participate in all of the discussion. We have like a private chat and everything too. All right, so the first item that we were supposed to take a look at, there's usually something like drinkable or edible to get you on your way. And I know that for some people, this was kind of a dense book. Reading classics, you have to kind of get yourself in a different mindset. So we have Noble Mix Strawberry Margarita, which of course you do not have to put alcohol in there, but does seem kind of appropriate for summer. Very summery option, and of course they have a lot of parties. Well, not so many parties. It's sort of the like social obligations, but they do have quite a lovely picnic, and they have a dance, and so there's a lot of social engagements in this book. And we also, I was really excited about this because I do love a good picnic, but these, it's white wine and basil gourmet snackables, includes crackers, cheese, and preserves. So it's basically a little picnic snack box. Isn't that amazing? Okay, I didn't actually open this up because I was waiting and I was thinking maybe I would save it and be rude and have a little picnic when we are doing our live stream. I don't know. My house is going to be getting put back together on Tuesday. We're having a little work done on our floors. So it might be a little bit of a mess, but I might deserve a picnic in that case. So it looks like we've got some dippable cheddar, and then we have a nice row of crackers. We love that. And we have a little spreading stick and some Bon Maman strawberry preserve. So I love that. So we get that sweet and savory. It's like a really fancy Lunchables little snack. So I will definitely be enjoying that. And maybe if I've already eaten it, I might have to make another little charcuterie board for our discussion, and you'll just have to deal with me crunching. But I encourage you to join in, even if you just haven't recently read the book and you just want to kind of see what our live streams are like. I encourage you to join in, have your snack ready, have your drink ready, and chat with all of us. All right, so that was our picnic snack box. We also, along the picnic theme, we have "You must be the best judge of your own happiness," Miss Jane Austen says. Of course, there's just some little strings here. Let me get rid of that. A nice fabric wine bag, so very cute. Great little gift bag, of course. It looks like this might even be Katie's handwriting that she then had printed onto here. That would not surprise me, but it does look a lot like her beautiful calligraphy. So super cute. Great little gifty, and of course a lot of people do find a lot of happiness in the things that come in this size bag. Custom wine carrier bag, so yes, that makes me think that Katie did in fact design it. The beverage theme continues here, so this looks perfect for that margarita mix. We have a little mason jar glass, so it's got a cute like polka dot purple straw, plastic reusable straw, and then here is this very pretty mason jar, so a little bit different. So it is glass, but it's got that sort of not hobnail glass, but kind of that like antique style glass, not carnival glass because it doesn't have that like pearlescent style, but kind of a vintage glass style instead of just your basic like mason jar. And then look at the floral lid, so pretty. So I don't use glasses like, I say I don't use glasses like this a lot, and here I am with my glass right here, but how lovely for your picnic. I think that's really sweet. I wonder if there's a way to like plug that so that you could take this with you on your picnic and then poke the straw in. You probably could just put a little saran wrap over the straw, honestly, because it does have a nice little silicone spot there, so you're not going to get a lot of spillage. But you could do a lovely and also beautiful drink here. You could do the strawberry margarita with a couple like slices of strawberries floating around in there so that you could see it, and it could be visually as well as tastefully appealing. I was like, what's the other adverb there? All right, and then we have one more item. Like I said, it is a book. So it's Jane Austen's Garden, a botanical tour of the classic novels by Molly Williams, illustrated by Jessica Rue. So already gorgeous. I didn't even show you the cover. Isn't that pretty? And then look inside. It says, "Welcome to the garden." This looks like it's going to be really, really pretty. Let's see if we can find a table of contents. Oh, wow. Look at these gorgeous, like, botanical drawings, like almost like scientific drawings. Let's see. A note from the author. "My intention for this book was to create a compendium of Regency era horticultural references that Jane Austen included in her major novels. To help readers locate the references as they appear in the novels, the title of each entry reflects the nomenclature Jane used, even when it differs from what is common today. For example, the reader will find information about pelargoniums under the entry titled geranium. Additionally, the Austrian scholar will notice that I've left out references to juvenilia and Jane's other minor works like Lady Susan and Sanditon. Instead, I chose to concentrate on her most famed and accessible storytelling. I also chose England as a geographical reference rather than Great Britain or the United Kingdom. My focus is on the geography and topography that Jane would have written about, primarily the south of England, and not the entire United Kingdom or Great Britain as we know it today." We have a nice timeline with the Regency era, the flower garden. I love this. Look at, and we have like illustrations from the books and them talking about things. There is like a beautiful moment in that movie adaptation that I was talking about where she's actually getting a bouquet together for her former governess, her little wedding, and she's in this beautiful like greenhouse, which that I don't believe is in the book at all, but I did think that was fun, and it was very pretty, and flowers always make such good metaphors. I do remember that back in once upon a time back in school, I did do like a paper on the significance of flowers in The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. So I'm always on the lookout for what flowers and plants and things might mean. I apologize. We're going to have some noise outside, but we're going to keep going. take a look. It says, join Professor and gardener Molly Williams on the spirited exploration of the parks, gardens, wildernesses, and hedgerows of Jane Austen's England. Learn about Regency-era landscape design, discover the botanical inspiration and symbolism at work in Austen's novels, and add historical flair to your own home and garden with DIY projects such as designing a Regency-era tablescape, love that, crafting a decorative garland from parkland greens, and rendering dye from the hedgerow. Now, I don't think that I'm going to get that into that, to render dye from a hedgerow, but I do think it's pretty cool, and I could see someone definitely using this book in their papers, and also just, it's kind of a different, more gardening way of experiencing a book than like the recipe books that we become so used to seeing along with different authors and titles. So I did think, I will see that you're going to hear a lot of beeping outside, but I thought that I would maybe read a passage. It comes very early on, you know, and Emma is just such a thing of perfection, but she's also a little bit of a busybody. She's a little bit, she's definitely like, has this image of what she should be like, but a lot of the things that she says, you kind of let them go because she is so young and frivolous and she just hasn't learned. I feel like it's very, very convenient that she doesn't really know what love is. And so it's very easy for her to say no and to sort of try to orchestrate love for other people. And then, of course, the first person that she does fall in love with is her true love. So that's the one little like convenience of the book. Let's see. I have none of the usual inducements of women to marry. Were I to fall in love, indeed, it would be a different thing. But I never have been in love. It is not my way or my nature, and I do not think I ever shall. And without love, I am sure I should be a fool to change such a situation as mine. Fortune I do not want. Employment I do not want. Consequence I do not want. I believe few married women are half as much mistress of their husband's house as I am of Hartfield, and never, never could I expect to be so truly beloved and important, so always first and always right in any man's eyes as I am in my father's. And it is so true. Her father absolutely dotes on her, thinks it is just like such a tragedy when like any of the young ladies of his household have to go off and get married. And she does recognize her privilege, and she does recognize that there's, you know, not necessarily much more freedom in being a married woman in that society and in that time. So there's a lot of questions of feminism and, you know, sort of things that you could relate to Jane Austen's actual experience and how she sort of infuses them into her novels. And I think that's one of the really fun things about Emma, is to sort of kind of try to get into the mind of the author, which I feel like in other cases might be an unfair thing to try to do, but we do that with classic novels a lot. But if you have any favorite quotes from Emma or Jane Austen or Clueless or any other adaptations, rolling with the homies, please, by all means, leave those in the comments or bring them to our live stream discussion, which again will be tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, the 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're usually on there for like an hour to an hour and a half, and then I will usually leave it up for a couple of days, and you can kind of follow along in the chat, or you can leave your own comments in the comment section. And often there's a giveaway. I'm not sure if there will be, but we will probably also talk about our Q4 choice that we'll be making very, very soon, which we'll be doing with another box that I open here on the channel. But all of that to say, lovely curation. I was really proud of our book group for choosing a classic novel. This is one of my favorites, and so it was really fun to revisit it, and really fun to have some beautiful things that just allow me to snack and enjoy. And now that I've gotten through the book and maybe listen to the audiobook doing things. I did listen to part of an audiobook for sure, because it's really fun to hear people like, you know, Mrs. Zelton and Mrs. Bates, and having them just like chatter each other's ears off. Like there's a lot of chatter in this book that I feel like there's some really good character actors that can do them justice. So I am not one of those people who says you have to read the book and you can't enjoy the story if you watch the movies. I do think there are some really good movie adaptations. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support. Hopefully I will see you in the live stream with Priscilla, and if not, I will see you in my next unboxing, which should be in 2 days from now. Have a good day.